I'm JB, by the way. I'm the founder of the Music Hack Space, and I'm in London. And this is a very first Notch meetup we have. We have Mikkel and Lorenzo. How about you introduce yourself, guys?
Oh, yes, we are Mikkel
And Lorenzo.
and Lorenzo. Yes, we are. I'm the founder and of our studio, Roof Video Design, as written below. And we basically do motion stuff and live stuff for events. Lorenzo is here with us for now 3 years almost. Yep. And he didn't know Notch actually when he came into the studio, but got in love. So he's actually now our senior Notch designer, and be working on almost all of our projects. So I'm myself a Notch designer, and yes, let's start. Let's go into it. Today we want to speak about the integration of Notch IMAX into our live shows. It's a quite new technology, and we have been using it now for three years more or less, not so much more, and it was really a game changer for us in our production. We'll show you later in which areas we use it, but it was really a powerful software, and that was actually for a lot of things we have been doing in a different way. Achieve it with Notch is it's so easy, so directly, and it works, and it's really cool. So we're really happy to speak here today about the integration that we have in all our shows. We're using Notch every day and in every show now. We are Roof Video Design. We are a studio, multimedia studio. We basically do stuff for live events, corporate theaters and conferences, and of course live show. We started with live show, doing content for live show, MVJing. That is our background, and we slowly grow into this and became more confident. And now we also design some stages and really also do show direction in most cases of Italian. We are not being so engaged international, but hopefully it will come. So, as we said, this is Mikkel, this is Lorenzo, and we will show you the short show reel of Roof, so you can see a little bit what we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Yes, that was our show reel, and as I was saying, we are using Notch very much in these times. We actually do it in our in almost everything we do. Yes, no. Yeah, sorry. We do it in installations with interactive. It was quite difficult before. I was using VVV 4 times, and but I'm not a programmer, so so to do really cool stuff, you really need to tweak it with programming. So we interrupted a little bit this, and then we come into Notch, which has all these fabulous nodes that you just put in, link it, and then go on. So did it really help us to improve our installations? And of course, we do in IMAX, and that's what we're talking about today. But we're also using as video design, as to render out this quickly. You can really make cool field stuff, smokes and particles and trails. That a lot of cool stuff. And then XR, and that's because of the reason that we all know, by the pandemic. So. We actually studied, I just want to point out, we actually use Notch also to do some pre-visualization. We import our 3D model, and through NDI connection, we can actually play our shows in a cool way. And then we were using Notch in the beginning just to do that, because see the show before it's on stage is very important to get a little bit of taste of it. And then we turned it into the XR production. We have done a lot of things in the XR in the last year. We'll show you. We show you now the show reel. It's a pretty long. It's about 2 minutes. Then we will come back to you and get into the project we want to show you today, and into the node graph, which I think it might be more interesting for everybody. So. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. As I said, we actually use it for everything. The smokes are really cool, and to achieve them in Cinema 4D, it's long also from render time. It's not so easy. They moves well, and it's in real time ambience work. So for our way to work, it's really great. So you can see it directly and modulate it, and it's so cool. Yes, as I said before, we use it in an installation. The first upper left is an installation we have done in Electronic Festival here in September in Bologna. A large projection with this sort of box, little Refik Anadol inspired thing, and we have a webcam, normal webcam, that with the NVIDIA driver ER virtual background and the face tracker, they actually generate when people came in front of the camera. It's the activate the installation, and they were able to generate particles and trails, some colorful, bring some color into this industrial space. So we use it for video design. We show you a frame of Armani's latest fashion show. Also this done in September, where we actually just use it to create particle trails and then shadows, and as a motion designer, as After Effects or Cinema 4D. Then we do the XR. This is a virtual stage. You can't see it, it's so good in this image, but there's a band. Sorry, the lower right, it's a band, and we recorded them in a club, and it was playing live. It was live streaming, and we made the virtual backgrounds for their show. Actually, without a green screen. So it was an interesting experience. And for the object of today, IMAX, how do we use it to make some real-time effects that are cool? They are difficult to do without post-production, but we are now reintroducing live effects and really bring it to the new level. The first project will be Benji Fede. Benji Fede are an Italian duo. This was the last concert for their show. They split now, and they have been in career for 4 years. It's a sort of boy band. It's for really young people. And yes, let's show me quickly what we did. It was in the arena of Verona. It was the LED screen set up and the stage you see there on the right. And yes, basically, I just want to say this was a show that was supposed to be held on in 2019, but after the breakout of COVID, it wasn't possible until here in September. It was a full show, full sold out show, the last show, and we split it there. The production split it up into 2 concerts. Because they only have half people allowed to come into the venue. So we decided to use that. There should have been a lot more post-production and in the show, but that the budgets fall drastically, and we decided to put in Notch. If you can show a little bit of what we did, and then we will show you how we did it. Okay. Okay, that was a little bit of what we have been doing during the show. 25 songs, a lot of patches. We have 8, 9, 10 patches, and then it was run by Resolume, so we also have some effects done in Resolume. Of course, not the not the same level. Here's the setup. Basically, we start from upper right, and we got the live camera feed. We got it directly into our Blackmagic. We use a Blackmagic Duo card, works well, and put it into Resolume. And then here you see the OBS, but we actually also use a video mixer because there were different. I think there were 5 or 6 cameras. Five
yes,
inputs.
around 5.
Yeah. And we decided to only have one input in the notch, and we take the program, the final mix of the camera, and that's why we turned it through OBS, and then with the Maxwell card, which is we find is the SDI card, we find that's one of the card that works well, really good with notch. It's really powerful. And of course, we have a Launchpad controller for MIDI inputs to control values in notch. We will speak about it later, but it's fundamental to have control live over your contrast, intensity of the effects, and so that is a must-have. We can't work without it. I really want to point it out because you can't really control the lights in a live environment. That's a lot of light designers. You haven't seen the light of the show, or yes, but you have time to rehearse. But when the audience come in with their mobile phones and whatever, the light is changing every time. So you need really to get these effects to work well, to have control live. So that is a must for us. We do have to have control, and we're using MIDI, which works well. Also over distance, we link it with the internet, and then we can control also from the front stage, and so that's a must-have. Then we output notch as a camera, but affected directly to the input of the Blackmagic, and go to Arena, where we have, of course, another control for the various layers and whatever we need to control in a normal VJ situation, and then the output video. It's a long way, so you might experience at least from 4 to 6 frames of delay in clubs. In clubs where people and the audience are close to the singer, it could be a little bit of problem, this frame delay. But in a live contest, it's actually no, you have to concern about it. But we find that it works. It works. So, but you have to consider at least 4 to 6 frame delay of the notch input. So that's a thing to keep in mind. Here's some of the patches. We want to show you the first one. After all, Lorenzo will show you the node graph of the first one. It's probably the most easier one, the one with the cube upper left. And this probably the easiest to achieve in notch. But before notch, this was a very difficult thing to do. We got the live input on a cube, and the cube is rotating, and we got a cloner with that clones that main cube into particles. Into particles on the back. And to do this before notch, you really have to work a lot of time on the media server, Pandora's box, or these guys, the D3. So this was really important for us because we are doing a lot of 3D models with texturing. And the other one is effects, as you can see. It's more plain effects and more powerful and color it, because these are pop guys, so it works well. Well, let's jump into the node graph. So we'll show you a little bit how we achieve this. As I said, it's really simple. I'm almost embarrassed, but again, it's the way in to get live image onto a 3D model. Now we're putting it on a cube, but it could be a large building with a lot of things going on. Basically, this is the setup.
Yep. I start with a simple video loader. That's because now I'm using this footage, but in a live situation, we have another node. It's called video source. It's not activated. And after that, every time I put this node to control the brightness and contrast of the input in the scene.
Sorry, I interrupt you. That was of the matter I said before, because the live input, he plugged it into the video null, so we can control before sending it to the actual scene. We can control brightness, contrast, and saturation of the image, because of the light is changing constantly during the live. So you really always have to have a hand on these parameters. Sorry.
Yep. And after that, the final image goes into the texture node of the material to become the color input of the material of the cube. So you will have this effect with all the video input inside of your cube, and then this cube is come to a cloner who clone them around the space, and with some modifier put them and move them around the space in a random mode. And
yeah, sorry, yeah, for the cube, you just put some continuous modifier, matte modifier. Yes. Different on the rotation, I think.
Yes.
Just to have it rotating. We didn't want to control that. That during the live, they just have to rotate randomly. And we did a good job to always have the singer upright. It always happens to have it like that.
It's too much random, like this.
Yeah, too much random, but
every time you flip it out.
Yeah, but yeah, it works.
At the end, I put another color correction to control the final image. So with my MIDI controller, I can do, I don't know, with black and white, or control the contrast or the brightness of the image. And this is the same process that I use with every I don't know, every IMAX.
Every IMAX, yes, yes. We have this little bit of, I don't know, we have the already preset that we have a template or a group, a big. Do we have a bin? We have made a bin.
Yeah, we can make a bin of this group.
That's really handful. There's just 3 effects, control to send out to the MIDI and to your MIDI controller. And this is another must-have. You see one green in the one side and the red one. That's really, you have to have control of these parameters. So this is very important. You just plugged in a directional light.
Yeah, a directional light to have this effect. So only one side of the cube is brightness. And yeah, it's for this is to have this effect with this all black.
That was basically it, but it's really so simple. If you can turn in the beginning of the input, as we just take an input, we put it in a video null, then we put it in another video null. Might know we want to add some other effects, that's why we put it in another video null, so we can eventually operate also on that side, and then plugged in to the color. and do some mapping to have the control of where the image will be on the cube. And then directly into, we use a shape 3D, but you can use the node a 3D object or whatever. So it could be in a really complex model, the input. And we use a video source because it comes from the camera, but you can put an NDI source, the NDI node as well. If you have an input from that, you just plug it in the video node, and you're done. I mean, that's simple. It was a lot of programming before this way to solve the problem, to have a texture to texture a 3D model live in with the IMAX. So we're really happy about it. We also use it in more complex scene.
Yes.
But this is actually the first case.
Okay.
So we want to move over to the next project, which is Salmo, which is an Italian rapper, come from Sardinia. He organized this Waterworld Music Festival, which is very particular in Sardinia. It's a festival that where you have the main stage on a ship, actually, I think 200 meters out from the coast, and all the people could watch the show and have fun on both these, I don't know how to say them in English, it's gommoni. Well, and there's a lot of them. It's the second edition of this festival this year. He really pushed it in the marketing also because he have a new album coming out, and Bob Sinclair was DJing, and he has his song, and they called directly Lorenzo, the team of Salmo, which we've been working also in the last tour with the team of Salmo, very professional team, and they do really cool stuff. And to do some Imag effects and go crazy on the screen. That was really, really funny. So we will show you what we did.
Now let me show you how I do this. Now let me show you how I do this.
Yes, it was with Salmo. We created a lot of patch here because we really have the liberty to do what we want to do, actually, basically. So we get weird with fire and colors, and we use it a lot of the visual background, I spoke before, which works very good, very well. This is the setup. It's a little bit more complex. It's almost the same. We use Resolume Arena. We are using that software since it was born. Basically, I first met it at the version 2, and then now we are up to 7, and it's very cool software. So we have the main cameras. You see them at bottom, and they are coming into our notch machine. We have a media server this time to control it with our with our how do you say with the card to acquire the video. And this time there were 2 people, there were 2 guys. One was Lorenzo, was doing it live.
Had a tough morning. You are handling this way better than I am.
Handling what?
Sorry, what's that question?
Probably.
No. Well, we was together with another guy, he was using Touch Designer, and we both came as inputs into the Arena software, and the setup was pretty much the same. We actually sending Notch as a live input, as a live signal through SDI cables. and we are not using NDI, which is very powerful actually, but sometimes we issued some frame delay and it might not always run so smoothly over internet, but we're managing. We have it with us every time, and sometimes we use NDI and sometimes we use SDI, but the SDI is like it arrives and the latency is constant, so we will probably upgrade it in the future and use the NDI instead, but until now we're using the old good cable. And we're going directly into a Resonum arena where there was a VJ. It was not controlled by us, and he switched from the live cameras to the touch designer or the notch. I'll show you some of the patches we did. Here you can see him. We probably created a lot of them. We're just showing a little bit of them with fire. And here you have the virtual background remover, so we can give these graphics on the backgrounds. And of course, some water wall music logo, and then coloring the footage and have all this destroying stretchily effect, because he's controversial rapper. And here we saw in some other effects where we have some knife running around, and something a little bit more powerful in terms of colors and glows and whatever. So we would like to show you the particularity of this setup, because we use a way to work with live IMAX. This is a little bit more complex, as you can see, but it's quite simple. Lorenzo will show you. This is how we actually work with live effects, layering things. Can you show from the input?
Yes.
From the video input, yeah.
The input was the same.
It's actually, as you see, it's the same. We have this go into a null object, video null.
But now we have this, and this is a new thing. It's an NVIDIA virtual background. We can give you this. I don't know how to say. It's like a alpha channel, but
yeah, mask. Matte.
You can find the people, the silhouette of the people, and then all this two type of channel was mixed together with this type of node. I'll show you. I don't know this. Okay, this is the flames, and with this type of node, I can control better the various effects, because only the fire was rendering by this node. So I have something like After Effects layers, and all the different effects are on the different layers. So I can do something like pre-comp layer.
That's you use the render layer.
Shuriken. And this was a 3D model. Okay, this simple 3D model.
And you plugged it in as source for a particular emitter.
Yeah, it's a source of a particular emitter, and then this particle was rendered by a clone. So all the particles are rendered by a mesh. In this case, the Shuriken. And then I can apply some post effects on this, only on this layer. After that, I have this render root to control better the single effects and put them together to get the final image.
And of course, notch, I don't know if you're confident, it renders layers from the top and down. So, yep. So in the bottom, you probably will find the original footage. And then, so can you show you solo the last layers, render layers?
The
So
last layer.
No, yeah, well,
This.
all of them.
It was some particles, but was too many parts.
The second last.
The second was the lines. Then the shuriken. And overall the fire. And the last one was the clean footage. This is it. I think is everything
Yes.
from.
And of
course, the master output with the color correction to control. I don't know the contrast of the saturation of the all Imag FX.
And basically we output all this with from the view, just sending. We're using the builder actually, and we're not making an executable file because we're working directly in Arena. So we just from the window like that view, we just full screen it on the monitor of the output as the iCard, and works like this. We use the builder. The builder is slower than executable files, but when you have a lot of patches in live production, you really have to expose a lot of parameters if you're doing executable files, and you have more control of this. And it's also a matter of time if you can try it. Probably if we have 3 days of rehearsal and to do this show, we probably will have made some executable files. This way, it's just make
or block for media server.
Or block.
Depend on what type of media server you have in the stage.
Yes. So yes, these are the two projects. When we really want to get a little bit more insight, if you want, you can speak a little bit after because we're more or less finished, and you can speak it in. I will speak about the first project, Benji Fede, and you can ask Lorenzo, which is also more expert than me in some cases, about all the Salmo, and also about how you made them. I don't know, the fire, which is a field, and or some particles, and if you have some problems with your shows, if you're doing the shows or something, please ask us. Maybe we can solve a small problem or some issues that you might have. In the end, I just want to say, YouProof. YouProof is a platform that we have been using and sending up our video design, and we decided it's a marketplace, and we decided to make YouProof 2.0, and we added a notch section with patches. We're working on it in this period, so you won't be able to buy footage, but you can download if you register, of course. You can download that. We have a lot of free patches from Notch, and we are publishing in the coming days. We're publishing even more. So this is our very special child. It's called YouProof. It's a marketplace. If you want to be a contributor, everything is working online. You just click the button and submit some of your things, and we will actually make things going. We are publishing a lot of video content and stuff on this platform, and then do some tutorial. And this is our little place where we like to share and give away what we're doing and messing with, basically. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy, and really, if you have any questions or remarks or anything, we're here for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Very inspiring presentations, very different context. And I imagine it's not something you talk too much about, but like the complexity of the setups and how you adapt to a festival that's happening on the water, or in a ancient site in Verona. Like all of this particularities are fascinating, and a big part of the job you do, because Mikkel, earlier you said, well, I'm embarrassed, it's very, very simple, it's a very simple patch. Yeah, it's simple, but like, to get to the simplicity of this, like all the complexity that you have to deal with, outside of that simplicity is very important. It's part of it too,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of other things around it. So thank you so much for sharing your approach and practice. It's very impressive. I hope that everybody got the most of this.